One, two, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Howdy folks, welcome back to Music with Ryan. For this week I broke out the parlor guitar because the composition that I wrote just kind of called for that sound, right? We have a bluesy and jazzy ragtime piece I've created, and this guitar just works really well for both the lead and the rhythm. So I'll be teaching you the melody to this tune, plus covering the chord progression as well. This is a great chord vocab builder, as we're going to be covering a handful of different chords. Kind of has some classic 1, 6, 2, 5 turnaround in there, and some of those voicings are a little jazzy, right? So we're going for that sound. The parlor guitar just fits it. I love using this little luthier Roadhouse guitar. It's not really an expensive guitar either, but it just has a nice little sound to it that I enjoy for this style of piece. We're gonna start walking through the first half of this lesson right now, but put the tabs on the screen. If you want to access the full-length lesson, download the tabs, the audio tracks, and access Sound Slice, click the link in the description below. All right, so let's go ahead and put those first few measures up on the screen. I'll play them and then break it on down. So here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, ready, go. And I went on just a little bit there into measure 4. So measure 1, I'm going to slide up to the 5th fret on the B string with the 3rd finger. Then high E on the 3rd fret. And then here, this measure's rather syncopated here. So we have several ties in there. Notice there are notes in parentheses, and we don't play those notes. They're just tied over to, and they happen to be on the and of the beat. So it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, I am doing all upstrokes there as well. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And then I'm going to slide back down to the 3rd fret of the B, and then 1st fret of the B. And use that 3rd finger to shift up and shift down. Then if I go on here to measure 2, almost the same thing, just a little bit phrased a little differently. Kind of stay up on that 3rd fret high E. So we go back up to the 5th fret on the B, and then 3 on the E, and just tied over here 1 time, and 3, it's a quarter note there, and then 2 eighth notes. Oops. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and then measure 3, we do a quick hammer from 3 to 5 on that E string. And the chord progression does go to the F chord here, so the melody note is on the A. Then we go to 3rd fret on the E. And then again, a quick little slide down to the 3rd fret on the B. And then 1, have a tie there. And then we play 3 on the B, and we're going to bend it as well, just a little half step bend. And that will tie over to the downbeat of the next measure. If you have the tab printed out, you'll be able to see that. Okay, that's going on in the measure 4 there. And as you probably noticed, a lot of this melody is going to sit in this little pentatonic box here. And I'm going down to the low string there, but also is a C note right here as well. But that's where I'm drawing a lot of the ideas for the melody of this tune, just in that simple little space there. So let me play all 3 of those in context now. So it sounds like this. 2, ready, go. And then take note as well, like you hear those little slides that I'm doing, they help add, a little sauce to it, right? A little style, a little feel. And you don't have to put those in there necessarily, but again, they do add a little extra, right? Right? And I am clipping off some of those notes as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next few measures here. Okay, went on just a bit there. So measure 4, we go to the F minor 7 chord there, and it sounds and looks like this. And I will have a separate video lesson or separate clip talking all about the rhythm and going through the chord shapes. It's a great chord vocab builder, and it's just a fun chord progression to play. So I will talk about the chord structure and how to play and finger all those chords as well. Because in this case here we go from an F to an F minor 7, which is a kind of a Beatles thing to do or Brandi Carlile thing to do. It's typical for any singer-songwriter, F to F minor or 4 to 4 minor, and it just really has a cool effect. All right, so that's what we're going for here. So in measure 4, I came from that bend, and then beat 2, we play 3 on the B, back normal, if you will, and then 1 on the B, and then 1 on the G, and I'm gonna roll my first finger kind of up, if you will, and that's the minor. And it's tied over to beat 4, so I hold it for a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And going on here, measure 5 and 6 is where we have our classic 1, 6, 2, 5 turnaround. That's a term or a phrase that you would hear in music, but a lot of times in jazz. And as you can see, the chord changes every 2 beats, right? C to A minor 7, to D9, to G7, and back to C. So I'm grabbing some, again, kind of jazzy chords or even jazzy voicings, and I will talk all about that as well. So let's go back to the melody and measure 5, open G there, and then open G again, 2, then 1 on the B, 3 on the B, a little tie, back to 1. So the rhythm there is, then measure 6, 3, 5 slide on the B, 3 on the E, 5, back to 3, then here 4 on the B, open E, 4. Okay, that should rub pretty good, right? That's an E and an E flat note rubbing right next to each other, and that gives it a little bluesy tinge. And I'll land on the 5th fret of the G string there, and that's a C note. Okay, so all 3 of those, ready, go. Let's do the first 6 measures there. So ready, 2, beginning, go. So this song is done in an A-B-A format. So once you get this first A part, it will repeat essentially kind of half of the A. But yes, it will be like A, B, A prime. It's probably a more accurate way to say it. And once you get part of this A, you'll be able to do essentially the same thing in the last A part, so you'll have learned over half the tune. But that's kind of the format. Again, A, B, and then A prime, or it's kind of like a shortened A part. Same melody, same chord progression. So we'll talk about that more as we go. So let's continue on here. Measure 7, 8, and 9. They will sound like this. So this kind of ends the first half of the A, right? We land on the 5th fret of the G. That's a C note. We go 3-2 slide on the G, open, then 2 on the D, 3, 4, and then we go to a G chord here. We slide up to the 5 on the D. We finger this chord right here. It's a G chord or an F shape. I'm sure you're familiar with that. And D string 5th, G string 4, B 3, and then 3 on the high E. And that's a half note. Then it's tied over to, as you see, is a big circle around it. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So we'll just hold it through the measure. I also thought about, it says G7 chord, and the rhythm will play that. And I know we're not playing a G7 here. I also thought about just finishing it, on the 7th note. But, I like the way that resolved a little bit better. Either one will work if you want to change it a bit. And then measure 9, we kind of start the A part back over. Or the second half, it's going to start with the same melody. So those 3 measures, ready, go. 3, 4. Okay, the next few measures. Okay, some similar things going on, but one thing's very different, and the chord progression changes. So I substitute a chord here. I go from C in measure 9 to E7 in measure 10. Now prior, I just went C to C7, right? But here it has a similar but different effect. And again, I'm substituting a chord. We're going from the 1 to 3 major. I can probably play it up here, or you can do it down here as well. But I just really love the way that sounds and that feels, and that changes essentially my melody as well. So measure 10 melody here. We slide to 5, and then 4 on the E, tied over, and then 5, and 4 on the E again, quarter note, and then 4, 5. So just balancing between those 2 strings, and that rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3, 4, and then 4, 5 hammer on the E. I'll use my pinky there. 1, down to 3, and then slide down to 3 on the B, and then 1, and we go back to 3 on the B, and we do the bend. So this is all the same as before. Then measure 12, it ties over. And then beat 2, we unbend, play the 3rd fret B, 1 on the B, 1 on the G. So then let's carry on here. On to measure 16, probably not on the screen, but it takes us into the B part. As you can kind of hear, we kind of voice lead into the B part. Measure 13, open G, then open G again, 2, 1 on the B, 3, half the beat tie, back to 1. Measure 14, we slide up to the 5th fret on the B, and 3 on the E, 5, pull the 3, 5 on the B, then 4-5 hammer, and then 5 on the G. I'm gonna finger those 2 notes right there, 5 and 5, and I'm just gonna kind of strum. We're just gonna fill in here. There's no melody necessarily, but just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, down, up, down, up. So. So those 3 measures last time, then we'll move on to the B part here. 2, ready, go. I went on just a little bit there. So that's the complete A part. Let's play it all together so you can hear and see and hear it go by. And yep, let's start at the top. So here it is, not too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's it for the first half of this lesson. If you want to view the second half, download the tabs, access the audio tracks, and the sound slicer so you can slow down and loop the piece. Click the link in the description below to learn how. And if you want to watch some other videos of me teaching some lessons here online and you're watching on YouTube, you can click around me. And I'll move on with this lesson when you're ready.